tonight. Thank you. David.
Thank you. It's not about the money, and he didn't want to leave. So why exactly is Irish boxing coach Billy Walsh on his way to the United States? And what does the departure of the most successful coach in our sporting history mean for our prospects at next year's Olympics? Rita O'Reilly reports.
Boxing, Ireland's most successful Olympic sport. Out of 28 medals Ireland won since the Games began, our boxers won 16. The sport is now mired in controversy over the departure of head coach Billy Walsh to take up training teams in the USA. But one of the most successful clubs in the country, Crumlin Boxing Club, takes a more relaxed view. The coach is gone. Long live the coach.
Because Billy gets a job in America, that system is still in place. Like, of course we're going to miss Billy, because he's a good coach. But there's other good coaches. There's plenty of good coaches around the country that could fill that spot.
I assume there's quite a number of great coaches in Ireland, except we have the best coach in the world, in Ireland, in boxing. His record stands for itself, and he should be allowed the freedom and opportunity to continue to do a good job. Billy Walsh gave up in frustration. All you had to hear was his statement of a man who does not want to go to America, but has been forced by the petty indignities forced upon him to leave this country.
Phil Sutcliffe is a former Olympics team member turned volunteer coach.
Boxing in Ireland will be successful for years to come with the amount of kids coming up. We have some special children coming up in this game. I might be barren for a while, maybe 1 or 2 seasons, but there's kids there that are exceptional, and it will continue to be successful in this country for the dedicated coaches, all in the clubs that are giving their time voluntarily.
The Sports Council, though, is not relaxed. A deal was to be put to the IABA board in August. It wasn't.
My view now is that deal should be offered to Billy Walsh even at this late date and give up the nonsense that's going on now in the IABA about this. I'm effectively saying that when the new funding round for 2016 comes up, we will have to review our relationship with the IABA.
Billy Walsh himself has suggested the issue was his autonomy as head coach, but Crumlin's coach defends the association system.
Council is a group of people from the county boards, elected by the clubs, that make the decisions for boxing. Billy sends a team to be ratified, and 9 times out of 10, that team is ratified. One person just cannot pick. It's a right and just to have a central council to pick the teams. It's right and just that the central council run boxing.
Why?
Why? Because it's right. Because they know more than one man. If another coach goes in there, he won't be picking the team either.
Well, you know, it's an extraordinary sport that can decide that high-performance boxers are decided by democratic ballot or democratic decision.
Kieran Mulvey says even now the agreement arrived at on the 22nd of August can and should be put on the table.
It was never put to the board and never put to Billy Walsh, even though it was agreeable to him. And at the end of the day, the Irish taxpayers, through the Irish Sports Council, with the approval of the Minister, were funding it. What's the problem? I don't know what the problem is. I want a rethink within the next 24 hours by the IABA of their total approach to this and the acceptance of the proposal we put to them on the 22nd of August.
Rita O'Reilly reporting, and I'm joined now by Bernard Dunn, former WBA super bantamweight champion, and by Sunday World journalist Sean McGoldrick. Sean McGoldrick, we saw Kieran Mulvey, the chair of the Sports Council there. He's really putting it up to the IABA now, isn't he?
Well, you spelled it out very clearly, David, and the board of directors of the IABA now face a critical 24 hours because basically he has threatened to review the funding that the Sports Council gives to the IABA, which keeps the whole programme on the road. And I mean, if that were to be withdrawn, or if there was a threat to that, I mean, the whole show would come to a halt, which would, and ultimately the problem there would be that the boxers would suffer. I'm surprised that he didn't mention the possibility of the Sports Council taking control of the high performance programme, because it has always struck me as being a bit strange that the Sports Council, with the help obviously of taxpayers' money, they fund the programme, but yet, as we have seen in the last week, they don't have any control over issues, I mean crucial issues like who the coaches should be.
Yeah, he's talking about giving the IABA 24 hours, but really it's a bit late at this stage, isn't it?
No, it's absolutely, like, I mean, Billy Walsh has made it clear that he has given his word to the US authorities, and he's a man of his word, and I think it would be, I would be surprised if we went back on it, but I mean it should never have got to this point.
Sure.
I mean, there has been a dysfunctional relationship, and this is the crux of the problem. There has been a dysfunctional relationship between the high performance unit and the IABA since the high performance unit was set up. I've recently wrote a book about the success of the Irish boxers, and I did a lot of research on it, and I mean there has been a series of problems. I mean, this isn't the first one. Like Billy Walsh was overlooked previously for the job of high performance director, and they decided to appoint Dominic O'Rourke, who was then the president of the IABA, to the position now. As it happened, that didn't transpire because the Sports Council threatened to withdraw the funding, and there was a compromise agreed. And now obviously Billy couldn't talk much about it when he spoke to me when I was researching the book, because he was still under contract to the IABA, but he said pointedly, you know, that was supposed to be happy times, but it didn't work out like that.
Okay. Bernard Dunn, whatever way you look at it, this is a pretty unseemly row to be played out in public. Is it damaging for boxing?
Most certainly is, and coming the week after we've had our most successful World Championships ever, it's incredible, it really is. And I think the problem is it's a lack of communication. You know, we know there's an issue there, and they know there's finer details, and they've said it's not money. They said it's, you know, it's the bits in the contract that are a problem. What are those problems?
Yeah.
You know, why aren't we able to understand what's going on? Because Billy's coming out and talking, but we're not really finding out too much. Billy's just, you know, playing it. And Billy's right. Like, Billy owes nothing to this country now. Like, he's performed a fabulous job with these boxers and developed them and helped them to win and be as successful as they are. You know, he's got to do what's right for him, and if the deal he's being offered isn't right for him, he's got to go elsewhere.
Yeah, I mean, the central problem seems to be, from what we can gather from outside, seems to be about picking teams and that sort of thing, that it has to be ratified by the Central Council.
That process is already in place, and we're having our most successful spell ever as a boxing nation. You know, so why, I don't see why there is a problem in wanting to change that. You know, why change something that's not broken? We finished 4th there in the World Championships. You know, we're producing talent at all age levels.
I think there was an issue though that Billy resents the fact that he has to put the team before the selection committee, because he cites the case of Brian Cody or Martin O'Neill or Joe Smith. I mean, it would be unthinkable of them to put a team before the county board. Now, okay, that used to be what happened 20 years ago, but it doesn't happen now. Times have moved on, and I think that certainly is. It may not be the crux of the issue.
But if it's just as simple as picking the team, if that's the only problem, you know.
Yeah. Unfortunately, we're only hearing one side of the story. So
we really are, and it would be good if the IABA were able to come out and put their point across. But the problem is now, if you look into Kieran, you're listening to Kieran just there speaking, you know, the only people that are going to get hurt by the funding being withdrawn is the boxers.
Sure. What about our prospects for the Olympics and how damaging this is? Because obviously the Americans feel that Billy Walsh can really make a difference and can make a contribution, which is why they're offering him a very good package to move. So we are going to lose out, aren't we?
Yeah, you know, and you know, I listened to Phil there. You know, there are many and some fantastic coaches in this country. You know, but Billy's communication skills, you know, and his man management, and that's what sets Billy apart from the other guys.
And the other issue is that Zora Nita, who is the technical coach and arrived in the high performance unit, he was actually interviewed for the job the same day as Billy, and back in when it was being set up in early 2003. I mean, they have built a very close relationship and they're very friendly. And Zora now has become an Irish citizen, and his family is settled in Ireland. But I mean, Billy, once he goes to America, his job will be focused on America and make them the best nation. And Zora is internationally recognised as the best technical coach in the world. And I mean, human nature.
I don't see how there's a coming back from this point, though. I don't see how his job is tenable to come back and work with the current setup within the IABA. So something's going to have to give. Okay, well, as we've seen, maybe the next 24 hours will tell the story. But Bernard and Sean, thank you both very much for joining us. Miriam.